Are you thinking about moving in with your children in your later years? It might sound like a loving and convenient decision. But what if I told you this seemingly harmless choice could take away your financial freedom, disrupt your emotional peace, and worst of all, tear apart the family bonds you've spent a lifetime building? I know, because I've been there. At 72, I truly believed I would be cared for, surrounded by love, and spend my final years in the comfort of family. But reality hit hard, and I live with that consequence every single day. Most people don't realize when they're beginning to lose everything. By the time they do, it's often too late. If you're watching this right now, let me know where you're from. Leave your city or country in the comments below. And if you care about real stories, meaningful lessons, and heartfelt guidance for aging with dignity and strength, subscribe to Life in Words. This is where we protect what truly matters in our later years. Aging should not be the end of your story. It should be the beginning of a new chapter, one filled with peace, independence, and respect. If this message speaks to you, leave a comment with the word yes. Now let's talk about the first risk that too many seniors don't see coming: financial disaster. Reason 1. Financial disaster. Have you ever considered that moving in with your children might completely wipe out your life savings? It may sound extreme, but it's already happening to thousands of seniors across America. And most of them never saw it coming. Let me tell you the story of Evelyn, a 71-year-old woman who had lived peacefully in a small apartment in Arizona after retirement. She wasn't rich, but she had enough. One day, her son Caleb called from Oregon and said, "Mom, just sell the apartment and move in with us. We'll combine everything. You won't have to worry about a thing." It sounded reasonable. So Evelyn sold her home, packed her things, and moved in with Caleb's family. She brought with her over $180,000 from savings and the sale of her apartment. They opened a joint bank account just for convenience. But in less than 10 months, most of the money was gone. Caleb had used it to pay off credit card debt, fix the house, and even buy a new truck. When Evelyn asked what happened, he said, "You're living here, aren't you? What more do you want?" She had no legal paperwork, no way to get the money back, and everything that happened was completely legal. You may think this could never happen in your family. But here's the truth. When parents and adult children live under the same roof, financial boundaries blur very easily. Who pays the bills? Should you help with repairs? Should you cover the grandkids' tuition? These seem like small questions, but together they create silent tension and confusion. So what should you do? Keep your finances completely separate. Never share a bank account with your children, no matter how much you trust them. Never transfer your assets without clear legal documents. If you want to live close to family, rent your own space, or consider senior housing where you stay independent. And above all, talk to an elder law attorney before making any major changes. You've spent your life working, saving, and building stability. Don't throw it away on the belief that money won't change anything. If this part made you pause, leave a comment with the number 1. Because most people who lost everything once thought the exact same thing. And money is just the beginning. Let's talk about something even more important: your independence. Reason 2. Loss of independence. The silent enemy. Most people think seniors decline because of age or illness. But the truth is, for many, what really causes the fall is the loss of control over their own life. Let me share the story of Walter, 76 years old. He lived alone in Vermont after his wife passed away. Each morning he walked around his block, cooked his meals, called old friends, and enjoyed his coffee by the window. His daughter Laura worried about him being alone. She convinced him to move into her home in Texas. Walter was hesitant but finally agreed. At first things felt fine. But within weeks, Walter noticed something had changed. He had to ask for permission to have guests over. He wasn't allowed to cook dinner because it messed with the family's routine. His young grandson ran into his room without knocking. Laura checked his medications, watched what he ate, even commented on what he watched on TV. "I'm doing it because I care, Dad," she said. Little by little, Walter stopped going out. He became quiet, withdrawn. The man who used to be joyful and full of life turned into a shadow of himself. You may think your kids would never do that to you. And maybe they won't mean to, but it happens slowly, silently, almost invisibly. It begins with reminders to take your pills. Then suggestions on what you should or shouldn't eat. Soon, they're deciding your appointments, your meals, even who you can or cannot see. And one day you wake up and realize you're no longer you. What can you do? Guard your independence like your life depends on it. Because it does. If you want to be near family, choose a separate living space. If you need help, hire a professional caregiver on your own terms. Look into senior living communities now, even if you're not ready yet. The good ones often have long waiting lists. And ask yourself this: are you willing to give up your freedom just so your children can sleep better at night? Once your independence is gone, it's almost impossible to get back. If this resonates with you, leave a comment with the word freedom. Because after independence, there's another silent price many don't expect: broken relationships. We'll talk about that next. Reason 3: broken family bonds, the painful price. No one wants to pay. You might believe that moving in with your children will bring your family closer together, that sharing a home will deepen your connection and strengthen love. But sometimes that very decision is what creates distance too deep to repair. Let me tell you about Diane, 74 years old. She and her daughter Rachel had always been close. They talked every day, went out for dinner on weekends, and shared everything. After a small fall at home, Diane agreed to move into Rachel's quiet suburban house. At first it seemed like the perfect solution. But within just a few months, something started to shift. Diane felt like a guest in her own daughter's home. Rachel, once warm and cheerful, now seemed impatient and short-tempered. Family dinners became tense. The laughter of the grandkids was often silenced with "keep it down." Grandma's resting. Rachel's husband started working late more often. The house felt heavier, quieter. Eventually, Diane moved out to a small rental apartment on the edge of town. 5 years have passed. They barely speak. And she hasn't seen her grandchildren since the day she left. Sounds familiar? Everyone thinks my family is different. But when generations live under one roof, small differences in habits, routines, and expectations start to build pressure. Roles blur. Are you a parent or a dependent? Are you part of the household or someone just tagging along? Do you get a say, or should you stay quiet and be grateful? These subtle tensions grow until affection turns to frustration, and love becomes resentment. So what should you do? Maintain healthy boundaries. Stay close emotionally, but keep your own physical space. Preserve your role as a parent by maintaining your own home or apartment. If money is tight, consider sharing a home with a senior friend instead. That way you have companionship without family strain. And ask yourself this: are you willing to risk losing the bond you've spent a lifetime building just to save a few $100s a month? If this touched your heart, leave a comment with the word family. Because once a relationship is damaged by co-living stress, it rarely returns to what it once was. And when emotional distance grows, another danger begins to rise quietly. Let's talk about that in the next part. Your health. Reason. 4. When health declines. How one change can unravel everything. Have you ever thought that changing where you live could harm your health? It may sound dramatic, but for many seniors it's real. Let's go back to Frank, now 78. Before moving in with his son, Kevin Frank lived alone in a cozy apartment in New Mexico. He had high blood pressure and mild arthritis, but everything was under control. He walked 30 minutes every morning. He ate on time, took his meds, slept early, and most importantly, no one disrupted his rhythm. Kevin lived in California and said, "Dad, stop living alone. It's better for you here." Frank hesitated but agreed. At first it felt safer. But the rhythm of life shifted. Late-night noise from the kids kept him awake. Mealtimes were chaotic. No one remembered his medications. It was cold in the mornings, and no one had time to walk with him. Within 6 months, his health declined. His blood pressure spiked despite stronger medication. He became restless, anxious, and exhausted. Headaches became frequent. His arthritis worsened. Then came a mild stroke. The doctors traced it back to stress and a sudden change in environment. You may be thinking, that won't happen to me. But losing control of your daily routine, sleep, meals, medications, peace can have serious consequences. And when your health breaks down, the pressure on your family increases too. Nobody wants that cycle. So what can you do? Protect your own space, where you can control your habits, your routine, and your health. If you need help, hire a caregiver on your terms. Talk to your doctor or a geriatric specialist before making major living changes, especially if you already have chronic conditions. And remember this: when you're healthy, you are a blessing to your family. When you're unwell, even with love, you might become a burden. Don't let quiet sacrifice become a health crisis. If this spoke to you, leave a comment with the word health. Because your health is worth protecting, and it begins with one thing: your independence. But there's one final danger you still need to hear, the kind that hides behind love, but can take away everything you have. We'll talk about that in the last part. Reason 5. Legal loopholes and subtle control. When love turns into a cage. Do you trust your children to love you, care for you, and protect you no matter what? Of course you do. But the real question is this: are you prepared to protect your right to make decisions about your own life? Let me share what happened to Martin, age 79. After a minor stroke, he moved in with his son Eric, trusting that he would be well taken care of. At first, everything seemed fine. Eric offered to help with bills. He opened a joint bank account just to make things easier. Then came the power of attorney signed while Martin was still in the hospital. Soon, strange expenses began to appear: a family vacation, online shopping, home renovations. Martin questioned it, and Eric said, "Dad, you're old. You don't understand. I'm doing what's best for you." That's when Martin realized he was no longer in charge of his money, his body, or his future. And sadly, it was all legal. This isn't as rare as you might think. According to the National Institute on Aging, 1 in 10 older adults living with family experience, financial exploitation, or over-control. Most never speak up. They're afraid of conflict, or ashamed, or simply don't want to break the family apart. You don't have to stop trusting your children, but you do have to protect yourself. So what should you do? Keep your finances separate, always. Know where your money is and who has access. Have your legal documents in place. Choose someone you trust to speak on your behalf if you can't. Don't wait until you're sick or vulnerable. Consult an elder law attorney or a neutral advisor when creating wills, powers of attorney, or transferring any assets. And finally, build a support system outside your family. Friends, neighbors, doctors, people who can help if something doesn't feel right. Because once you hand over control, you don't get to decide whether you're being protected or being managed. If this part opened your eyes, leave a comment with the word protect. Because what starts with love can slowly become a trap if you're not careful. Now, let's bring everything together. It's time for a decision. Conclusion. You've just walked through the stories, the warning signs and the silent losses that too many older adults are facing just because they moved in with their children after 70. I didn't share this to scare you. I shared it because I once believed love alone was enough. That if my children loved me, everything would be okay. But I was wrong. I lost my freedom, my savings, my health, and the relationship that meant the most to me. But you still have time to choose differently. You still have time to protect your independence, your peace, your dignity. You deserve that. If this video made you reflect or feel seen or gave you something to think about, please share it with someone you care about. One small action today could save someone else from years of regret. And if you'd like to hear more real stories, heartfelt lessons, and meaningful advice to help you age with strength and clarity, subscribe to Life in Words. This is your space, where your experience is respected, where your voice still matters. Getting older should not feel like fading away. It should be the beginning of a new chapter. One that's calm, empowered, and truly your own. If you're still watching this, leave a comment with the word peace as your promise to yourself. Thank you for being here. I believe you'll make the choice that's right for you.